Alright, I haven't seen a sniper. That's the first thing I look for. I've already looked for him. I haven't seen him, but see how I'm still way back here? Now, if the fight is split in half, I'm gonna circle back around. Ah. See? You shoot one, everyone takes damage. That's what you're looking for. Yeah, there's my sniper. So I'm gonna go over here. That's gonna help me look for him. Hello everyone, Demi Noel here. I am about to do something that I haven't done in a really long time. I'm about to do a build video. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I feel like most people are playing Outriders the same way, especially Trickster class. And so I main Trickster. I haven't hit endgame yet, but there's a reason for that. I'm trying different builds along the way, and I'll kind of go over that in this video. There's many different ways that you can do this build. I know a lot of people are using, toxic rounds or whatever round ability they can find. This is like a main one. For Trickster is Twisted Rounds. Most people are using this ability and finding ways to have unlimited ammo. A couple big things that I found, or problems I found with this. It does less damage than what I do. It takes longer to kill enemies. I'm looking for like a one-shot pow, you're dead, right? But I don't like using shotguns, especially in this game. Shotgun ammo is not really well. So I found a way to do that without ever having to worry about running out of ammo. So that's what I'm going to go over. So right here, like it says, the firepower is increased by 4,942. There's many other ways in the game that you can get that. So I don't see this as relevant. That's just me. There's pros and cons about the way that I play, and this is another thing, if you want to play using skill, I don't think Twisted Rounds requires that much skill. You're going to do a build, put on 1 or 2 mods, and then boom, you got unlimited ammo, and everyone thinks that's great, right? So I like to play requiring skill. I like to challenge myself. I'm at World Tier 12 now. I think I'm probably going to do this video on 11 because I just hit 12, so my build is actually still like on World Tier 11. As you can see, I'm level 29 there, but I played ever since, I started on day 2, and I've been playing ever since, I think it was World Tier 5 or 6, that I've just strictly been using hand cannon. I've already put up a couple of hand cannon videos, but I really wanted to break down how I'm doing it and how it works so well. When I switch from my handgun to one of my main weapons, I'm doing less damage. Even if it says my main weapon might have 10,000 damage and my hand cannon's at 6,000, for some reason my hand cannon does way more damage. It's been this way the entire game. I plan on playing the rest of the game this way. Like I said, I want to do a quick video and kind of break down how I'm playing and why I like playing this way. So one big difference between the way I play and how most people are playing this game is the pros and cons. What struck me right from the beginning was I initially felt that the developers don't want you hiding in cover and trying to shoot from cover. Especially using Twisted Rounds, you're going to need to do this. Why? Low health. The Trickster is it's kind of a high risk, high reward class. I don't really have a whole lot of ways to heal myself. You have a lot of ways to gain health and stuff, but you gotta be dead in your person's face that you're shooting. And this is another thing that bothers me about this class. I see a lot of people trying to shoot from long range. You need to be in the thick of the fight when you're playing Trickster. Okay, so everything that I'm going to say in this video is very subjective. This is how I prefer Trickster. This is how I would like to see more people actually play Trickster instead of just spinning in circles or throwing out globes or trying to shoot forever. I don't think that playing that way requires skill. So if you want to actually play and enjoy this class and actually play with skill, that's what this video is about. So the pros about playing my build, or playing the way that I play with this build, is high damage, great mobility, and yeah, you're never going to run out of ammo. Why? Because the pistol never does run out of ammo. If you haven't checked this, I didn't really notice this at first, but if you look in the bottom right corner, I have my pistol equipped right now, it never runs out of ammo. So these other weapons here, there's going to be an ammo count there, And even in some of the unlimited builds that people are making, there's still a small, slight chance that you're going to run out of ammo. With your pistol, you're literally never going to run out of ammo. It just doesn't. The cons are, if you get swarmed, it's hard to kill anything. The reason for that, the number one reason for that, is I keep forgetting to use my melee. In many games, especially like shooting games, it's like the melee doesn't really do much. In this game, if you're, I find myself up against a wall sometimes and I have 10 enemies in my face, melee, shoot a couple, and you can walk right out of there. It's really simple. I just keep forgetting to do it. The reason why it works with this class is because the pistol builds I do, anytime I shoot one round, there's 4 or 5, maybe more enemies getting shot all at one time. So if I get pushed up against a wall and I melee, it's going to slow everyone in my face, or almost everyone in my face, and then I can kill one guy, 3 or 4 guys might die, and then I just walk away from the wall. It's really simple. Like I said, I just keep forgetting to do it. The other thing, and this is the real one with this class, it's hard to kill flying targets. The reason why, can I aim in the air and shoot and kill a flying target? Yes, I can. The problem is, like I said, with the Trickster, you do more damage at close range. If you're flying around above my head, that's not close range, right? So those are the two things that you want to look out for, I want to say. It's not something that kills this build or makes it not usable, because like I said, I've been playing the entire game this way. I'm going to upload videos later when I get to endgame, and I'm planning on going through endgame this way as well. My goal was to my initial goal was to create a hand cannon, kind of like you would see in Destiny, and I was able to achieve that. Another con is teleport glitch. Hopefully the developers can fix this. I know as of today, today's the 9th of April, there's going to be a patch next week. Hopefully they can fix this. Sometimes you'll aim at an enemy and try to teleport behind them. What actually happens is you're going to end up still staying in front of them, and you won't end up actually behind them. So, and that's when you're using Hunt the Prey. So hopefully the developers can fix that next week. There are ways around it. Just use slow. So when you teleport, all the enemies in the area are going to be slow, 5 meter radius. I'll show that in a minute. Or vulnerable. So enemy you teleport behind is going to be vulnerable. What happens is, before your character actually moves, your target is already slowed. So if you don't teleport behind them, they're already slowed. You don't make it behind them, they're already vulnerable. So then you don't have anything to worry about. And then, like I said, yeah, I like this way of play because it requires skill. Okay, anytime I see this move in a game, I think of cell phone games. A lot of cell phone games have this ability where you hold out a blade and you spin. It requires absolutely no skill. Enemies that are farther away can shoot you. As you can see, he's moving really slow, which I'm pretty sure you can go into mods and change all of this. My number one thing is, this is my number one hated skill. It requires no skill. So I'm going to go over the moves that I do use and why I use them. I already went over Venator's Knife. I think that with that double damage there, you can really do a really good build and feed into that. The only problem with this move, you can't throw it while running, or while rolling. So if you're mid-roll, it will not come out. If you throw it and then roll real quick, it'll still come out. If you throw it, run behind a wall, it'll still come out. It will glitch through the wall, so it'll still come out. Absolutely love this move. I love the slow. Sometimes I'll use it to get away from enemies instead of using my melee. My only issue with melee in this game is it doesn't have enough range on it. So I'll use Venator's Knife to get away sometimes. Borrowed Time. So, no, this is the backbone of my build, is Borrowed Time. I have the 100% increased time duration on it, so I can stay out as long as I want to. I can run wherever I want to, teleport back whenever I want to. I'm going into my build in a minute, and I'll explain a lot more on that side of things. But for now, being able to go out, damage enemies, and then disappear real quick, this is one of the ways that I do that. Hunt the Prey. It's not the backbone of my build, like I said with Borrowed Time. Hunt the Prey is a very good move. I use this for snipers. I hate when I'm watching videos, there's, popular streamers or whatnot, and they're like, oh, the one thing I hate about this game is the snipers. They're so good. You should love snipers if you are a Trickster. Okay, reason is I will pop my moves and use borrowed time, sprint into the room, and the first thing I'm looking for is a sniper. The second thing I'm looking for is a boss, and I'll go over that later because I wrote some notes down. It's weird, I never really do that, but I did this time. So I use this, get to the sniper. A lot of times the sniper is alone in the back, so when you get back there, I can decide where to go next and just keep teleporting around the room. I had this move at 5.5 second cooldown earlier today. Right now it's at 6 seconds. The funny thing is right now I have absolutely no cooldowns for any of these moves. So I've used either what I'm wearing or my skill tree or whatever the case is to lower those times there. I don't have the actual cooldown time on. So I will show how I did that as well. I think these moves work perfectly together. And like I said, it's really fun. It requires a lot of skill. What you want to ask yourself is, what do I want my skills to do? When I was looking at Hunt the Prey, I wanted Hunt the Prey to have a low cooldown time so I can use it more often. And I wanted it to have slow, AoE slow, so no matter where I go, nobody can shoot me. When I land, there's a 5-meter radius around me that everybody has slow on them. So for a little bit, they're not going to hit me, they're not going to shoot me. And most of the time, I end up killing them before they can kill me. Okay? Borrowed time, I wanted it to last a really long time. Why? Because as long as this is on, I get increased armor, I get increased firepower, I get increased whatever I put on. So borrowed time, I wanted it to have a length in time. Do I need this 7.5 cooldown? No, I don't. Because now it's lasting almost a minute long. So I don't need my cooldown to be low. That's why it's the highest out of all my abilities. Venator's Knife, this 5-second here, that's by chance. I've been consistently lowering my skill times down. So this is just by chance. I haven't actually deliberately lowered it yet. But Venator's Knife, what I wanted this to do is do a little bit of damage. Doesn't have to be a whole lot of damage, like you're seeing in the video here. I don't even need that much damage. If it does that much, that's great. What I really need this to do is slow the enemies down so they can't reach me. I want it to mark them, so when I shoot them, they take more damage. And the mark also can tell me where they're at if I lost track of someone. That's what I really want this to do. The fact of the double damage and all of that, that's just the side. That's fine, but that's not really what I'm using this for. I'm using this as a more of a utility. If you would want to say that I have no damaging mods on my build, you'd be partially correct, because this one does some kind of damage. I don't need damage on my build. Okay, I want to teleport around. Control the battlefield is what I do, but I control the battlefield while going after high value targets is what I do. The enemies in the AI in this game is really smart, so when I move to kill someone or I move, the enemies will shift because I'm now in a new spot. If you do this, if you shift quick enough or you play this build well enough, the enemies will be confused when you teleport behind them. Even after the slow ends, if they're not dead, they'll just be looking around like, which way do I run? Where do I go? What do I do? And sometimes the enemies will actually like not even shoot you. They don't know what to do because they weren't expecting you to be there. So it's things like that I love about this build. Right, so that's how I handle cooldowns. Yeah, so the one thing I did leave out of my notes is the class. So now I'll go over this, and then we'll go over into we'll go into the other stuff after this. So, what I did put in my notes was what is needed for this build. What is needed is you need low cooldowns, you need high weapon damage, you need spread weapon damage. Anytime I'm shooting one enemy, I'm shooting 4 or 5 enemies. I don't want to shoot one enemy at a time. And that's another thing with twisted rounds that I've seen a lot of people do. Then they go to the next enemy. You're like unloading full clips in the enemies. To me, it's boring. Okay? You want high damage so you don't have to do that. You want low cooldowns. You want spread damage. I shoot one enemy, multiple enemies die. And you need the fastest reload you can possibly find. Okay? What is not needed is high anomaly damage. And that's what you're seeing here. Instead of going with the anomaly at the bottom, I went with the top. I was asking myself this earlier today. You might get away with going in the middle here and working on your deception skills. You got some shield gain here. If I get any more points, I'm 29. I don't know if it's going to give me any more or not. But if I do, I want to go for shield degradation here. And then there's some, where's it at? Shield gain. I think, yeah, shield gain right here. So if I do get some more points, I kind of want to go for that. But I think you could probably get away with this, but you're obviously going to have more damage up here, because this is where all the damage is at. Close range damage, close range damage. You got your cooldowns here, movement cooldown here. You don't need all of this stuff, increased weapon down. You don't need all this stuff. I don't really use shotgun. Movement skills increases armor piercing. Don't really need that. If you wanted to add that, you can. The one big thing that I love about when I make builds, there's not one way to do it. I don't like saying, hey, everybody, put on twisted rounds, use this mod, you have unlimited ammo. I like having many different ways that you yourself could watch this video and then make your own build based on what you saw. If you want to go for the middle tier, great. If you want to go for the top tier like I did, awesome. Do not go to the bottom. You don't need anomaly damage with this build, period. That would be my recommendation. One major thing about this tree that I like was actually not this one. Each enemy in close range of weapon damage is increased. Yay, that's nice. What you really want is this one. So you're only going to have 6 shots, which is great. That's fine. But this gives you 9. If you were to use there's a mod that says increases your clip by 10%. When I used that on top of this, it only gave me 1 extra bullet. So I took it off, okay? I roll with 9 bullets. This is what I used here. And then of course I went with assault instead of shotgun. I use my assault gun more, and I will go over that in a minute. But before I do that, I kind of want to go over how this build works. You want to start by killing enemies that approach you. I notice that whenever you start a fight, there's like 4 or 5 guys just dead sprinting at you. I want to kill them first. I don't want them trailing me everywhere I go, so I'm gonna knock them out. Once they're dead, I look for snipers or bosses. If there's a boss, I'll draw the boss to me. So I'm going to stay way in the back. The boss is going to come to me because I'm going to shoot him or whatever the case is. Once the boss comes to me, I'm going to do some damage. I'm going to teleport away. If there's a sniper, that's straight where I'm going. Why? Because now I'm clear on the other side of the battlefield. If there's anyone in between me and that sniper, they're going to be shooting me, which is fine. I have a shield because the guys that ran up on me, I killed them at close range, so now I have a shield. So I'm literally going to just dead sprint till I get close enough to teleport to the sniper. When I kill the sniper, I'm going to get health, and whatever shield I lost, I'm going to get it back once he dies. If the sniper's not alone, when I get to that area, everyone in that area, he normally only has like 2 other people with him, everyone over there is slowed. I kill all 3 of them, boom, guess what? I got shield and health back. If the sniper's trying to shoot you, you need to dodge around walls or buildings or whatever, that's fine, you can do that. Hit a couple enemies along the way while you're going to the sniper, that's fine. That's where your low cooldown comes in, right? So you can teleport if you need to. So eventually what you want is, I'm at the sniper now, the boss is clear on the other side, pretty much he's still where I started at, and now he's obviously going to be trying to make his way back to me. So now you have your breathing room. What I do from here is I'll teleport around the room. I can go to the boss, hit him a couple times, teleport away, kill someone, back to the boss, hit him a couple times, teleport, hit, and that's literally what I do until the entire room is dead, and then I have a couple shots, the boss is dead, and I walk away. If it's a regular enemy, I could probably kill him in 2 shots or so. My goal is 3 to 4 shots, no more than 4. If I can't kill you in 4 shots, something's wrong. And that's what I'm saying. So right now I'm 29, I'm at 12. I just boosted this to 37, so if you've been playing this game for a little while, you should know that my max right now is like 38, I think. I don't think it's 39, I think it's 38. And I just paid to have this put at 37. So since I just rolled over to world level 12, my damage could barely keep up with it, is what I'm trying to say. That's why in this video I'm probably going to do world level 11 instead of 12, because that's where I was. And then same thing here, I boosted the damage just enough. And you can see here, this is where my damage pretty much should be. 30, I think world level 11 you're working at level 36, 37, I don't remember. Yeah. Alright, so as we go through the mods, I've noticed that each mod or each move or skill only has 2 things that it needs out of these 5. The rest of them you don't need. You really only need one, maybe two. The rest you do not need. Okay? So I'm going to actually start from this side. Borrow time, as long as it's active, you receive armor and resistance bonus while the skill is active. I feel like this is something that's needed. Health is really low. I've been running low health this entire game. I don't really add health to myself. What I do is I build armor and I find ways to build shield. That's what I do. This one is actually already on, which is receive the firepower buff. I use that is important because of this one, which is the skill's durations increased by 100. This one you don't really need. You saw how low my cooldown is, reduced cooldown by 22%. At the beginning of the game, you'll need this. Towards the end where I'm at, I don't really need this. If you want to put it on, you can, not needed. Increase armor by 100%, I don't need that. Why are you going to give me that for 10 seconds when this ability lasts almost a minute long, right? 100% armor, 10 seconds, I don't really see that being useful. So the main one out of all these 5 that I need is this one. Increase the skill's duration by 100%. If you cannot fit any of these other ones on, this is the one you need. If you have space for 2, you need stretch time and you need the time space protection. If you only have space for 1, use the stretch time. If you have space for 2, use stretch time and time space protection. If you can fit 3, that's where the firepower comes in. These 2, I would never, ever, ever put on my build. I don't use these at all. If I had space for this one, I would put it on, like I said. If it's early game, I would use the increased skill duration, and I would use the reduced cooldown. If it's early game. That's what I did. And I ignored all of these until I could get this one on. And I'll show more other stuff you can use. We don't use the bullets because it's a waste of time. So, for Hunt the Prey, the main one you want is this bad boy right here, Time Blast. Apply slow in a 5-meter radius around the enemy you teleport behind. You do not need any of the other ones. If you've been following this game at all, you should know the anomaly damage is way lower than weapon damage. So adding this, I get a little bit of damage in. I'd rather teleport behind you, you're slowed down, and now I just shoot you and you die. That's just how I look at it. I feel like something else could go in the spot where this would be at that would probably give me more damage or whatever the case is down the line. Reduce the skill's cooldown. Again, beginning of the game you need this. I would do this and the 5-meter thing. Later in the game you don't need this. I think I had it on earlier today. That's how I got down to 5.5. Just because I had space for it, I threw it on. It's not needed. Interrupt and inflict weakness. Don't need that. Interruption, there's many different ways to interrupt the enemy, and for weakness is going to lower how much damage the enemy can do to you, but if I teleport, if you're moving around a lot, it's hard for you to get hit anyways, and when you do take damage, your shield's going to kick in or your armor or whatnot, so I don't really, this is another thing, is it useful or can it be useful? Yes. However, I think there's other things I would like to put in place instead of putting that there. That's just how I think. And then inflict vulnerable to the enemy you teleport behind. This is very useful because the enemy takes more damage now, so when I shoot them, they're going to eat more. I like this mod a lot. If I don't have space for it, it doesn't go on. That's why it's not on right now. As far as your throwing knife, I love adding adds to more bounces, because if you have a bigger group of enemies around you or running at you, very, very, very helpful. I love that. Right now, this one you don't need at all. Increases the this move already has a lot of range on it. I don't see any reason why you would need to add 25% more range. It has a lot of range on this already. It just does. And then increases the mark's duration by 100%. You don't need that either. Typically, I'll throw this in a group, and then I just murder the group, so I don't really need that. Shots on enemies marked by the knife receive more damage. This is number one that you need, even more than the bouncing with the 2 extra bounces. This is even more important, because this is going to increase your damage overall, which is what we need. And then increases the skills damage itself. You don't need that. Why? Anomaly damage is low, so you don't need that. Again, if I have space, I will put it on. If I get something drops that has this on it, that's fine. I will use it. but I will not put this on myself, which is why it's not on. Okay, so essentially right now I have what you need to use. So yeah, now as far as these the sub mods, I call them sub mods because these are your main ability mod type things. Your sub mods here is just mods that are going to support that. The main one I look for is this guy. This is my bread and butter. I absolutely love this one. Increases your firepower, increases your anomaly power, don't really care about that. What I'm really looking at is it increases my armor, and for 8 seconds whenever you gain health. This is where we're going to start getting into different mod or different build types. If you have a pistol that gets you health, this will help. Whenever you get health back, your power and everything's going to go up. If you're consistently getting health, depending on the build that you did with your pistol, you're going to consistently have this up. No matter what build I make, I really try to make sure that I have this on, the rejuvenation. I absolutely love it. Being that I'm getting towards the end of the game, I got a couple other ones. I'll see if I can find them for you, or for this video. This is another one. So the anomaly power, like I said, don't really care too much for it. 987, that's okay. The key thing here is when out of cover for more than 5 seconds, I never use cover. The only time I use cover is when I'm placing down my marker before I start running around so I can teleport back to it. That's it. I don't use cover, so that's where this would definitely come into play. If you find yourself dying a lot and you're like, hey, I need some ways to stay alive, this one sounds pretty good. I haven't really used it too much. I've used it like once or twice. The big boy is this one. Attain golem protection effect for 4 seconds. I don't know if it nullifies all damage. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't play the tank class, but you get that ability for 4 seconds. This has kept me alive. I've been surrounded by enemies. This will keep you alive for a few seconds. You pop a couple shots off, something dies, boom. Now you got shield, you got health, and you're fine. I love this one, and again, this is another one. If I can have it on, I will have it on. If I had to choose, like, between what to use or whatnot, I would just go with rejuvenation, and I would not put this on. This is like a secondary. I'd rather teleport than have to use something like this. This is a last resort, like you probably fucked up or something. Fresh mag, I absolutely love. Every time you reload, your firepower goes up. The thing about this is I'm using a pistol. I'm reloading all the time. So that's my increased damage. So I love that one. Don't really need stuff like this. I think this one sounds good. Incoming bullets, 30% chance of being deflected towards enemy. It sounds good. What if you're fighting an enemy that's not shooting a projectile at you? That was my first thought, so I didn't put it on. I do think it could be viable, useful. Again, this is another way that you can make this build work. Shield sap. There's another one. Enemies are around you. It's going to shock. My problem with this is it only shocks 2 of them. I would like to make for it to be like 4 or 5. That's typically what runs at you. So there's a couple in here that would be useful. This one, against enemies afflicted by toxic, okay, make a pistol build that has toxic, boom, now you can use that. There's many different ways to do this. The backbone of this build is you're never going to run out of ammo. You have a lot of firepower coming out at once, and you're moving around all the time. So we're going to get into a little more of that right now. Before I get to that, though, actually, here's your cooldown reduction. This is why I don't need it in my mods. Not putting it in my mods allows for me to have something like Bloodlust on. So if you're trying to figure out how to fit in some of these other mods, I put my cooldown here. And if you look at all my stuff, there's cooldown reduction. There's cooldown reduction. This one doesn't have it, but it has firepower, close range damage. And then there's cooldown reduction again. I have anomaly power in here. So I did a build, I think it was earlier today, I did a build that had a lot of anomaly power. I'll actually show you my stats when we get out of here if I can remember to do that. It says that I have high anomaly power, but I don't really use it. It only goes on my knife. It's a nice little chunk of damage on top of my build. It's definitely not something I even look for. Okay? Alright, so we're gonna get into the backbone of this build. Right now, I'm using a pistol that has freeze bullets and fireworks. We got healing received, armor piercing, long range damage. I'll tell you right now, if you're using Space Revenant, which is this gun right here, a lot of times it's going to give you armor piercing. Okay, that's just what this pistol does. I would like to see Weapon Leech, received healing, and close range damage. That's pretty much what I want. So what you're going to see me using today, I can just know that I can do more damage than what I'm pushing out. So for modding gear, on your pistol, the backbone of this entire build is... Where did it go? Oh, I know where it went. It's right here. It's blacked out because it's fireworks. Okay. On your pistol, no matter what build you make, the backbone of this build, you absolutely need fireworks. Fireworks, you're going to be shooting enemies in a 6-meter radius. So there's a group of enemies clumped together, like the first initial group that runs at you, they're all going to be taking damage. One big thing I like to supplement fireworks with, if you can, is... I gotta find it. Not that one. Not that one. This is one you could throw on some... You don't want this on your pistol, you want this on something else. Let's see if I can find it. Ah, this one. You want Damage Link. If you can get Fireworks and Damage Link on a pistol, you're set. This says, if the enemies are close within 6 meters of each other, they're going to take all of this damage. When they spread out and they're a little farther than 6 meters from each other, they're still going to be getting hit. You'll see like a thin, it's like a red and black like haze that's connecting the enemies together, and it'll show you which enemies you're all are eating damage at the same time. I can shoot one enemy, that one enemy dies, I turn to his buddy. By the time I turn to his buddy, half of his health is already gone. Okay? This is, if you can get both of these on a weapon, perfect. What happened here was, Space Revenant dropped. It had freeze here, something I didn't need down here, like bleed or something, or slow or whatever, and I replaced it with fireworks. That's why I have freeze here, fireworks here. I'll try to show you, I have some weapons that I saved. I'll try to show that. I would not put death chains on a pistol. This is the number one thing that I would caution against. Reason why, at the beginning of the game, if you got, you started on day 1, day 2, there's a little pack they gave everyone in the mail. They had pistols in there with death chains on it. No bullet came out. It seemed like the pistol just shot chains, and it was just damage over time pistols. Obviously, you don't want that. You want and need fireworks and all. You need that punch, and then the chains come out. So you can put this on an automatic rifle. What I found when I did that was the bullet would still come out, damage the person, or damage the enemy, and then the chains would also come. With a pistol, that did not happen. It was just the chains with no bullet. That's why I would recommend staying away from this. You can test it yourself. Maybe the developers change it, or maybe hand cannons are different than the actual pistols. I don't know. I don't use actual pistols anymore. Tested this when I first started playing the game. No bullet came out. It was just the chains. Having said that, I want to go straight into... this is going to change hopefully next week, but when you're playing online with your friends, bleeding bullets does not work. I will shoot an enemy, they will not have bleed on them. Again, hopefully the developers change this. I'll show you the actual guns that I have saved, and we'll look a little bit into how they work. Alright, so I'm going into my stash here. I saved a couple weapons. I'm going to go over how they work and why I saved them. Well, first of all, I saved them in case, because of inventory glitch, in case my inventory gets deleted for any reason, I can come in here and have something to use. The other reason I saved it is for my other classes. If I decide to play a different class, I'll have something decent here for them. For early game, this worked really well. Fireworks would murder everything, and then I would get that the killing shots regenerate health back. The reason I don't like this, I don't like any requirements. If I need to kill to get a buff, that's a no-no. I want to just shoot and have the buff there. For instance, fireworks, shots create an explosion that deals damage. It doesn't say killing, shots when enemy dies. No, it just says shots create. For this build to work, you need things like that, or you want things like that on your weapon. Shots do this, shots do that. You don't want killing shots, because the whole time you're trying to kill the enemy, my question was, what if they don't die? What do I do, right? So I started building hand cannons for shots do this or shots do that. So this was one of the very first ones that I made. I think at the time when I was playing the game, I spent all of my money on this weapon. I don't remember what world level I was at. This one has, armor piercing. As you can see, like I said, Space Revenant gives you that. Armor piercing and then long range damage. Only had 2 tiers on it. This one, I think I did the same thing. I bought it again because the first one did so well that I wanted it again. But as you can see, shots regenerate your health. So I just completely redid away with it. And just had every single shot regenerating health. I would not recommend having this on a pistol. I would recommend having this on a different weapon, which I'm going to get into in a minute. My other weapons heal me. This is my damage dealer. I use the other weapons to heal me. So, once again, armor piercing, long range, skills, life leech. I don't need that because, I don't really use skills that do damage or whatnot. So, yeah. This one, it did well. When I was in a bad situation, killing a lot of enemies in my face, the shots regen health did do well. This is another situation where, at this point in the game, I would just rather have something else there. Okay? This one I was experimenting with yesterday. Absolutely love it. Shots inflict bleed on enemies, and then the killing shots detonate the enemy's bones, turns them into shrapnel, which also inflicts bleed 5-meter radius. What it does not say is when that person or that enemy blows up and the bleed goes to the next enemy, if that enemy were to die, that enemy blows up as well. And then the next enemy were to die, that enemy blows up as well. So you can create a chain reaction where it's literally everyone just blowing up, boom, 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 all because you killed one guy. So with Sunscorched or with Sasha, a lot of times if you got Sasha, it has some type of weapon life leech or health or something on it. So if you're looking for a pistol with health, that's what you want. I love Sasha because I don't have to put health at the bottom like I did here, because it's at the top right there. That is enough to keep you alive, if you know what you're doing, okay? So shots inflict bleed, they blow up, creates a chain reaction, everyone in the row can die if you do this right, okay? I'm not too sure if I said this before. I think I did at the start of the video. As you can see here, my pistol on the right has 13,000 damage, and my main pistol here, or this Sasha here, has 6,000 damage. If the pistol on the right was not a pistol and it was automatic and it said 13,000 damage and Sasha had 6,000, Sasha would be doing more damage. Don't ask me how, I don't know. I just found this out at the beginning of the game and it does work. That's why I stopped using automatics. Okay, and then here's the perfect weapon that I was mentioning earlier, which is why I saved it. You have weapon life leech, that's enough to keep you alive. Long range damage, it's iffy, but I'm kind of okay with it. Like, maybe I gotta shoot something that's in the air or something like that. Kind of okay with it. I'd rather have close range damage there. Then you have the healing received. So obviously that's gonna feed back into your weapon life leech, if you have other ways of healing yourself, whatever. I got fireworks, and guess what? I was able to get damage link on here. This is the exact build that you want on your pistol. If you can get this, that's what you want. Again, if they're within 6 meters, they're going to eat all of this damage with top fireworks and damage link. When they start spreading out a little bit, damage link is going to follow them, and you'll see it's like a red and black haze that connects all the enemies together. So you'll shoot one enemy, and you'll see this, it's really hard to see, but you'll see this haze that's connecting the other enemies that are also being shot at the same time. I don't go for bullet ricochet because the way it sounds by the wording is that the one bullet is going to bounce between enemies. This literally links them, so when I shoot once, everyone's getting shot at once. Sometimes that delay in the bullet, to me in my head, I don't want to die in that moment, right? So if I'm throwing my knife, throw my dagger, right? By the time the dagger hits the enemy, like maybe I didn't throw it at the enemy right and that's running at me, I threw it at the guy behind him. By the time it comes back around and hits the guy in my face, what if he killed me and I died, right? So I don't want ricochet, I want damage link, so when I shoot, everyone's dying at the same time. And then, of course, I went over my Space Revenant here on the right. The freeze came with the weapon. I didn't necessarily want it there, and I was like, you know what? Let's just add fireworks to it, see what happens. Freeze is good, but I want something again that does more damage. So if I had Fatal Morgana up here where Space Revenant is at, it would be doing way more damage. Just simply because I have 2 damage mods on there. So, does the freeze actually freeze targets? Yes, it does freeze them. Works perfectly with slow. You got your damage and everything on there. It works really, really well. Alright, so now we are going to go over the subsequent weapons, or these are going to be your primary weapons and secondary weapons. The only reason I have these weapons equipped is to support my pistol. That's it. I don't actually use these weapons. There was a time in the game where, like I said, you know, like right now you see the 13,000, this is 14,000. My pistol actually does more damage. And it sounds weird, but it actually, that's how it is. And it's been this way the entire game, and this is a big reason why I main the hand cannon, okay? So, I have Thunderbird. This was the first legendary I got. I got a Thunderbird later on in the game. I replaced it, the first one, with this one. As you can see, I'm going to start at the bottom. Shots regenerate health. That is why this is on. Why is it on? Every bullet is going to regen health. Am I trying to kill the enemy with this? No. Why? Because I don't want to. My pistol does more damage, okay? It does have Lightning Whip. One thing that Lightning Whip or Storm Whip doesn't tell you is when Storm Whip hits the enemy, it can stun them. Sometimes you'll see like kind of a resistance where they won't be stunned, they'll keep shooting you. But a lot of times, this will actually stun them, and you'll actually see the enemy like take a step or 2 back. And if you're, you know, obviously Trickster gets shield and health when they're, by the way, a lot of people don't know this. If you're fighting a boss and there's no other enemies around, when you're shooting the boss, I've seen where I can get health and shield from that boss if no one else is around. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So if I'm shooting you with Thunderbird, I can act, instead of walking backwards like a lot of people do, I will walk forwards towards the boss because I want to close the distance, and now my close range damage buff is going to come in and I'm doing more damage to the boss. Okay? If he starts shooting me back, I can easily roll backwards, roll to the side. Now I'm throwing my dagger, he's paused again. I can decide if I want to come in, come out, go for cover, you know, maybe I need to reset my teleport, whatever the case is. I'm going to decide at that point, okay? This weapon exists for me to heal. That's it. Crit damage 20%. That's nice. Status power, don't care about that. Close, oh, it has close range damage, that's even better, right? What I would like to have on this is a weapon, you know, a health leech or something like, but that's fine. This is fine. I only have this here because Essence Thief is going to heal me. That's it. For shotgun, or for my secondary, I went with an automatic shotgun. It does not matter, you know, setting sun, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Shotgun is a mini pistol. It doesn't do as much damage as your pistol does, especially this one because it's at 10k and that's at 13. What I want this to do is link enemies when they're running in my face. I just want to get, you know, pow, 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 like shoot one enemy, link several together. The shotgun hits different than the pistol. Maybe it has more spread. I'm not really sure what it is, but it hits a little different than using a pistol. If the enemies, you know, are running up in your face, your back's to the wall, you got 10 people in your face, you want to melee, and then if you can pull out your shotgun, start hitting them with that, melee, hit them with that until you can get away from the wall. I'm yanking my pistol back out. Yeah, typically if I have a bunch of enemies running up at me, I'm going to stick with my pistol, but if it's a really, really bad situation, I'm going with shotgun. For some reason on bosses, the shotgun is easier to get a crit. I will say that. It's easier to get a crit with a shotgun. On bosses, if I can slow them or freeze them or whatever, the shotgun seems, you know, it kills them quicker, but I think it's because of the crit. Like I said, it's a little harder to get the crit with a pistol because you're dealing with a smaller hitbox. So with the shotgun, bigger hitbox, you're still hitting multiple enemies. So this one I just got. I haven't even modded it yet, it looks like. Shots entangle enemies with chains, and then we have killing shots, weapon leech for a while. So what I would do is delete the weapon leech, and then I'm going to keep the death chains on there. So yeah, that's what I would do with this. Alright, so now we're going to see this build in action. I actually decided to do it on World Tier 12, just to show how viable it is, because I'm still using like World Tier 11 stuff, because I just hit World Tier 12. So I have, like, I upgraded my pistol once. You saw how bad my shotgun is. And we'll see what happens. It's probably going to go bad because, you know, YouTube, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to pop my... way back here is where I'm going to pop my thing at. And then... see that? We're just going to run it. And it should be already back up. It is. That's the big boy. There we go. Alright, I haven't seen a sniper. That's the first thing I look for. I've already looked for him. I haven't seen him, but see how I'm still way back here? Now, if the fight is split in half, I'm gonna circle back around. Ah. See, you shoot one, everyone takes damage. That's what you're looking for. Yeah, there's my sniper. So I'm gonna go over here. That's gonna help me look for him. So he can't see me from here. He's not shooting at me. I want that guy. Don't be afraid to go through walls. And if you notice, I think it's like, what, is this 1 or 2 shots? Yeah, so you see how the sniper's aiming again now? I chose to stand still on purpose there. You see how much damage I'm taking? That's why you don't do that. Out of the sniper's view again. You gotta kind of play with him, you know? You gotta play with him. Make him think he can shoot you, but he really can't. Hi, big boy. So I can... Yep, there's the big guy. And then away from him. See, you don't want to stand there and give him a chance to hit you. My snipers are right here. Now they're down. Oh, that was only one. I do English from time to time. And by the time the sniper's dead, see how the boss is just catching up to me? And then we're going to teleport away from him again. So, my timer is almost out. It's fine. And go that guy back here. Yep, and then see how he still has to catch up to me? That gives me time to pull this out. And then what I'm going to do, one thing I failed to mention, I'm going to put borrowed time in a place that's far away from the fight. And I'm going to draw him over this way. See that? Alright, get over here, big boy. Make him think I'm hiding. I'm scared. So if you saw that real quick, it took him a minute to realize I wasn't over there no more. He was still running that way. You can throw the dagger. Yep. And like I said, if you're this close to the enemy, you want shotgun, not pistol. Which they can do that, but I don't care because you're in my home, and I love being close like this. You're in my home. Yeah, you're not gonna do that. So like you saw, the whole teleporting around and shooting. If I can kill the boss with my pistol, I will do that. But as you saw, I hit him a couple times just to get a feel for it, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna take a little bit to get down. Boom. Once I get a level, World Tier 12 pistol, yeah, I can kill a boss with it. Like I said, keep in mind this build is with me just having hit World 12 like a little bit ago. That's the entire build. You saw how everything worked together. I used my automatic here to wear him down and also to heal myself. The reason I was using this is to regen that health. So if he didn't get stunned from the electricity like he was, I would have been healing myself as he was trying to shoot me. I noticed he was using toxin. I was consistently healing myself, so it couldn't do nothing. And that's what I do. That's what I use this for. My damage dealer is actually my pistol. Towards the end, I didn't have to pull out my shotgun. I chose to do that just to show what it looks like, how close I can get with my shotgun. With my pistol, if you notice, I don't want to be that close. I want to still be like a little bit far back. These are my stats. If you look at the bottom, I have absolutely no healing. I literally stay alive from teleporting everywhere. You can't kill me simply because of how fast I move. I have no healing. My health has always been low, and it's because my armor is 14.7 that keeps me alive, and my shield. So, hope you guys enjoy.